So, with all of the talk and anger around the PlayStation 5 Pro, today we might have just gotten a leak about my most anticipated console in probably most of my life. The Nintendo Switch 2 supposedly had a price leak today. And this is going to kind of go into just a grander video about the Switch 2 that I've been wanting to make. So the first part of this video is going to be me covering the leak, and then the second part of this video is going to be me talking about what I would like to see from a Switch 2 or whatever Nintendo's next console is. So the price of the Switch 2, it seems to be that $400 sweet spot. Now, there's been a lot of talk recently about how fans in Japan are getting really fed up with Sony and their pricing of certain things. And for those of you that don't know, Nintendo is a very, very huge portion of the gaming market over there. And people are saying that if this is true, if the Switch 2 does have what this article that I'm going to be quoting from Comic Book Gaming, from their side, the gaming side of the website, it basically says there's going to be two models. There's going to be a $400 kind of all digital version of the console, kind of like a Switch Lite, if you will, and then probably a $500 for the main console. Now, if that is the case, then I think that this console is going to be very, very successful. Obviously, it's following the same path as like the Xbox Series X and S to a degree, as well as the original launch of the PlayStation 5, with there being a all digital or a disc taking version. What's interesting too is that it does mention that Nintendo's going to have two different SKUs for the console, meaning two different price points, and that one is going to be all digital, and then the other one is going to be a standard model with a disk drive. Now, that just could be how they're wording the article. That just could be the translation of the leak. I don't know if the original leak is in English or not. It could very well be, but the Switch doesn't take discs. It takes cartridges. Now, again, I could just be looking way too much into it, but if it's saying that it has a disk drive, then that's a pretty big switch up for this next console. Now, obviously, this isn't official news. It should be taken with a grain of salt. This is pretty much something that's been in the rumor mill for a little bit, and it kind of coincides with how most people are speculating that either at the end of September or in the very, very early parts of October, we're going to get the full announcement for whatever the next Nintendo console is. Why did I say Nintendo like that? I don't know. What the fuck? No, the reason most people are saying this is because we do have like solid confirmation that we are going to be getting news about the console within this fiscal year. It was confirmed pretty much almost a year ago, about 8 months ago, by Nintendo themselves. So we know that we're going to be getting news about this console very shortly. This fiscal year, I believe, ends in either February or March, I want to say. And in my personal opinion, I think they're just trying to line up whatever this next console is with pretty much the same time span that the first Switch had, which is about 6-7 months of marketing. Could be a little less than that. I don't know. Don't quote me, whatever. Now, I think this is really smart. I think giving people, especially in the certain climate that the world is in right now, I think that giving people a choice of either having a cheaper option or a more quote unquote normal option is a very good thing. And that was actually something that I hoped that they would do at launch, because although I did have a Switch Lite before a normal Switch, I did think that the Switch Lite hindered the experience a lot more than, say, a all digital version of a console would. I don't really think that it's a good thing for game preservation and that argument, but that's just where the market is these days. So all digital seems to be the way that the future is going. So although I don't really like it and I don't really agree with it, I do think that this is a smart business move from Nintendo. Okay, that article will be in the description. Now we're going to kind of shift gears here into what I would like to see in the next Nintendo console. Now, one of the first things on my list was this exact thing. I wanted it to be in that $400 or $500 market, just because I do think, and I do agree with a lot of the rumors that the next Switch console is going to be around the same power as, say, a PlayStation 4/PlayStation 4 Pro and an Xbox One and an Xbox One X. I do think that that is the case, and I'm really hoping that it is. I hope that whatever this next console is a hybrid. I hope it has a handheld mode, and I hope it has a dock and a docking mode, because the Switch really dominated in my opinion, because of that aspect. Yes, it has also a lot to do with it being a Nintendo product and Nintendo being a household name and the exclusives, but the Wii U had some really good exclusives that we've seen get ports to the Switch and do really well, but people just didn't really like the whole Wii U idea. I also think just the launch of the Wii U was not very good. So I'm also hoping for a very good launch for the Switch 2. With the original Switch launch, it felt like we didn't have too much from Nintendo, but we had a lot of indie games that really pushed the market forward. And of course, you know, the world ended for a long time, and that really helped the Switch's sales, but I don't really think that we should be relying on something like that for success. So I do think and hope for a very strong either couple launch titles. There's a rumor that the next Pokemon Legends game, Legends ZA, will be among that group. I hope it is. I hope we get either some sort of Mario or Zelda. I mean, I feel like it's pretty much inevitable that we will. I don't think we're going to get the next Tears of the Kingdom or whatever the next Legends of Zelda game will be. I think that's way too close of a time frame. We could. There's been a lot of rumors about a Mario Odyssey 2. I think that would make the most sense. I do hope they've also fixed a lot of the smaller issues with the Switch. I hope that they've, instead of from the little brackets that hold the Joy-Cons into place, if they go down the detachable Joy-Con route, which I hope they do, I hope they use more of a stronger kind of magnet system to where it's a lot easier to have them be solidified in place, because if you're someone like me and you take your Joy-Cons off a lot, eventually they start to kind of slip out of place, and the railing system that they have right now is just not the most reliable. Also, everybody knows about the Joy-Con Joy-Con drift. I hope that that's resolved. I mean, there's so many companies now that make, I don't want to say knockoff Joy-Cons, they make third-party Joy-Cons that completely eliminate that problem, and if Nintendo doesn't do that, that's just going to look really bad. There's been a bunch of rumors that have talked about the type of screen that's coming with the launch console and how it's pretty much going to be confirmed that it's going to be an LCD screen again. I really hope that's not the case. I think that the OLED upgrade for the base Nintendo Switch improved the console so much more than I thought it would. Something about the OLED screen just makes the colors pop so well, and obviously there's a lot of LCD displays that do it really well too, but personally I just like OLED a little more. I'm not going to be upset though if they go back to an LCD screen. I do think right now, correct me if I'm wrong, which I mean, I'm probably already said some wrong things and the comment section is probably already eating me alive at this point, but I really hope that they go for a 1080p display in handheld mode. I don't know if that is the display for the PlayStation Portal, and again, very different consoles, but the PlayStation Portal screen size, for one, is bigger, and two, I believe it's 1080p. It feels like 1080p a lot of the time. Again, it could be 720 though. I'm not a huge tech guy, so I don't know. But if it's possible and without making like the screen overheat and the console just not really working, I do hope they're able to provide a more 1080p type of screen. Now the next one, it might be controversial. I don't really know how people feel about it, but I really hope that the next console doesn't look too much different from the main Switch. Obviously, it needs to look different so people aren't confused when looking at a normal Switch, a OLED Switch, whatever special edition Switches we get from now until the end of the year, and the new console. Obviously, it needs to have some sort of difference, and I'm not saying it shouldn't, but I hope it stays in this kind of nice form factor. Again, I think the PlayStation Portal, the way it's designed, is honestly the best part about the the thing. I think that the size is perfect. Obviously, like the controller aspects are very good because it's literally just a DualSense controller that's split in half. I hope that it doesn't get much bigger than, let's say, a Steam Deck or a PlayStation Portal. I hope it stays relatively form factor. Now, I could be completely wrong here, and they could go back to it being a home console type of company. I really don't think that's a smart idea. I really think that the Wii U kind of showed that that might be the last for a while, and I hope that they keep this kind of hybrid going, being able to dock it, take it on a go, because it's just so seamless with the Switch, and it would feel like kind of a step back to either go to just a handheld or just a home console. I also hope that it has Bluetooth on launch. I really hope it does. Please have Bluetooth on launch. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't really have anything like hugely, I guess, controversial to say about what I would like from a Switch 2. I just want it to be very similar. I want us to be able to have a lot of the same, what's the word here? Is it attachments? That sounds like such a fucking Call of Duty thing. But a lot of the same kind of third-party add-ons that companies like Satisfy Grip were able to make, or all of these other kind of custom oh, that's what sorry, one more thing. As you guys can tell, and if you're new here, I don't script these videos, I just talk. I really hope we're able to kind of customize the home screen on the Switch. I hope we're able to change kind of the backgrounds, have these dynamic, almost like these dynamic island type of backgrounds for the main console. And I also hope that we're able to change things with the docking system. I hope we're able to customize it a lot more, and we're able to do a lot more with it. Obviously, that's just kind of wishing for it, and I hope they don't go with this big ass brick again, because it's very annoying. But yeah, I mean, this isn't going to be my last video on the Switch. I'm thinking after they announce whatever the next console is, I'm going to do like one more bigger video for the Switch, because this is by far my favorite console of all time, and it's my most played. It's the one I've sunk the most hours into across all different types of games. I've never played such a variety of games on something. Like, even on my PC, I've played more variety on the Switch than I have on my PC, which, I mean, that just kind of speaks to me having the Switch longer than I've had a computer. So, but yeah, 7, almost 8 years of this archaic ass console. It runs things like an Xbox 360, and I love it. Such a great console. But yeah, let me know what you thought about either my ideas. If you think they're stupid, if you disagree, I don't care. I'd love to hear what you guys want in a Switch 2. I think it's really cool to be able to have this discussion while we can. Knowing my luck, I'm going to upload this video, and then literally like 3 or 4 days later, they're going to announce the new console, and this video is going to be completely irrelevant. That's happened probably 4 or 5 times on this channel now. I'll also leave the article in the description that I use. It's, again, if I forget, it's comicbook.com, and it's just their gaming section. Yeah, this has been Wicked, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.